Chapter 1. I felt no panic, no fear, which would have seemed odd to anyone witnessing my dilemma from the riverbank. I was upside down in the Yukon River, trapped in my kayak and unable to get free. Racers were warned that this lake, Lake Labarge, had taken many lives because of its size and unstable weather patterns. The entire week leading up to the event that brought me there hadn't been any different. For the most part, the weather had sucked. It had been an unseasonably cold and wet spring in this part of the Yukon Territory. In most years, the sun was a more constant companion by June, and the spring rains had waned. Even in the warmest and most stable years, however, it was commonplace for an afternoon storm to whip the lake into a frenzy, dump those in its way, and then disappear, content with the havoc it had wreaked. This was where DNFs, did not finish, were made. More than 30 miles long, Lake Labarge was a wide spot in the Yukon River that stretched as much as 3 miles side to side. Very seldom was the year that someone didn't end up capsized there, which was exactly where I found myself at that moment. Most who made it across the lake made it to the next checkpoint. Nearly 87% of the people who made that checkpoint finished the race. I hoped only to get free of the kayak before it became my waterlogged coffin. I had been surfing ever-increasing swells for an hour before I'd been overturned. I reflected back to the pre-race meeting. It was mandated that all of us taking on the Yukon River quest remain within a quarter mile of the shore. This was the rule for a couple of reasons. First, if your kayak or canoe capsized, it would be possible to get yourself to shore before hypothermia killed you. Second, the further from shore you were, the bigger the waves. Kayaking back home in Iowa had provided little opportunity, zero opportunity, to practice whitecap paddling like this. Fear could be a good thing at times, and certainly this was one of those times. But there was also a balance to be struck. 30 miles to get across this beast was the distance as the crow flies. As the crow flies meant point to point, and that meant straight down the middle of the lake, which was not an option. The seemingly serene waters were as misleading as fool's gold. Much like the gold rush that drew explorers here at the turn of the century, danger or worse waited for those who did not give this place its due respect. The event rules made it clear that the quarter-mile from shore limit was non-negotiable, and if caught too far from shore, you would be scolded by the race officials. Ignore their scolding, and you would be disqualified. The race directors had ample stories to justify their rules. With waves on the lake now 3 feet and growing, I was about to become one of their stories.